If you've been reading along in Acts chapter 5 with us, you've already gone through the story of Ananias and Sapphira and how the church is beginning to gain momentum again, that through the holy presence of God, alive and active in the people that have now become believers in Jesus, they're seeing many miracles and wonderful things. And the kingdom of heaven is quite literally being brought here on earth, and they're seeing it in their everyday lives. The apostles are on fire, and they're out in the streets sharing this good news of Jesus in the temple courts, in the marketplace. But now the high priest and his associates, the members of the party of the Sadducees, are being filled with jealousy. They begin to arrest the apostles and they put them in the public jail, but something miraculous happens. During the night, an angel shows up and unlocks the jail and says, "Hey, go back out into the streets and proclaim the good news of Jesus." And so they do so. The next day, of course, the officials see these guys in the street thinking, how on earth did this happen? What took place? Did they break out of jail? And so they go and they round them up, but they don't use force because they're fearful that the people will stone them. These are the same people that probably once were about to stone Jesus, but their hearts have now turned back to God. And as these apostles and disciples are being brought before this leadership, there's a specific man, Gamaliel, who's the teacher of the law, who's honored by all the people. History tells us that he's Paul's mentor. We're going to read about Paul in a little bit. But he's the teacher of the law, he's honored, and he stands up before the Sanhedrin. And he orders all these people outside, and he talks just to this group. He says, "Men of Israel, listen. We've seen this countless times, right? Where somebody rises up with some sort of power and authority, some sort of new religion, and it basically just fades away. But this is something that hasn't faded yet. In fact, it's gaining momentum, and we're seeing the proof in the miracles in the lives being changed. Well, listen, if it's really real, let it go. And God will do what God does best, reveal himself through it. If it's fake, let it go, and it'll eventually just fizzle out." Well, over 2,000 years later, it hasn't fizzled out. In fact, people are still growing in their faith. The question for us today is, what's it like to be persecuted? Have you ever been persecuted? Have you ever had somebody look down on you for your faith? Have you ever had those feelings inside that, oh, I can't talk about that here at work or at school or with this person or that person because they may not like it? Well, I encourage you to face that fear. To simply pray, God, what is it that you would have me say to this person about the life change you've brought into my life, the faith that I have in you? You'd be surprised. The Holy Spirit will give you not only strength, but the words to share. Go forth in this peace and this knowledge of God. May you be the hope in people's lives.